Good morning. Well, it's morning here. Good day. Good day, good night. For the good day, I wanted to jump on here, and I want to make this short, but I'm having problems with, I don't think it's much myself, but I'll explain it, but like other people with direct communication. I'm a military lady, or I learned most of my world skills, majority of them, through the military, and one of them was communication, or how to communicate with people. And I recently was talking with another veteran about this, is that people don't like when you communicate with them at like directly on point. Some people find it very intimidating. They've never experienced that before. Direct communication is basically just a way of conveying clear messages or instructions without any ambiguity or like little side stories or stuff like that. It's just very direct, on topic. It involves, if it needs to, it involves like expressing feeling and the thought and the clarity of the full picture of whatever you're trying to communicate about. So it's very direct, especially this works on the battlefield. It works in learning or teaching environments. There's no like side stories, or there's no underlying suppressed emotions involved, because those types of things will get in the way of what you're trying to clearly convey without being it disrupted, or that point getting focused on, if that makes sense. And I was talking to another veteran about this. He was like, do you have the same problem where if you directly talk or communicate with somebody, they kind of like deter away, or they don't like? I was like, yeah. I was like, they think that I'm like aggressive or mean to them, or they get intimidated. That's what I found, is like they're not sometimes out in the world, they're not like fully self-aware of that part of themselves. So when somebody does talk to them like directly and like ask and like observe and not analyze, but just observe them as they are and communicate like without any judgment or whatever, I guess it is kind of like a thing, or like it is kind of intimidating. And then I know that my presence, I don't know, in human design, I'm an emotional projector, so I can like penetrate my aura through people and see what's going on. But I want to talk about it today because I think that if you don't have the skills, or if people don't know what it is, then I think the social health of people is going to keep dipping down to that socially engineered, I'm in my own little bubble type shit, if that makes sense. And there's just going to be this massive backlogging of all these pent up emotions or ideas or whatever, and they haven't been fully spoken out or directly communicated with anybody for another person or thing to, or even yourself, just to observe, like, you know. And I mean, if it, to kind of clarify it more, direct communication is happening all the time with your environment, or especially when you go out into nature. It's just that your scope of observing and seeing what's trying to communicate with you via vocal cords or your skin. I mean, my environment is communicating with me just by the wind blowing, and I can feel it on my skin, and I can tell, oh, it's kind of sunny today. Oh, it's, oh, a bird pooped over there, I smell it, whatever. Or you can hear like other birds directly communicating with other birds just by listening to what sounds they're making with their vocal cords. So yeah, I think people should kind of look into that first in themselves and then kind of see where they're at doing or communicating directly with other people. I'm trying to think about an example of direct communication. Let's see. I actually had a weird experience. I had a weird experience with somebody. I don't know if it was it wasn't really direct communication, but it was communication, and I think it was something in my subconscious that manifested out. Where me and one of my friends, we went down by this river walk, and we wanted to go eat sandwiches, and we went into this area. I didn't know it was a dog park, but there's nobody in it, so we sat down on the table there and we're eating, and then one lady came in. She had a dog, totally fine, little lab, and we pet it, and then they left. And then this other chick came in. She's a bigger lady, like not fat, but like obese. She had two little dogs, like Chihuahua and like a little Dutch Hound. And she came in and we pet her dogs, and I asked, hey, can I give them a little piece of meat? And she said, no, that's okay. I was like, okay, that's fine. And so that right there is direct communication. Hey, am I allowed to do this with your dogs? She said no. Okay, that's it. That's all that had to be. Obviously the dogs kept kind of hanging around a little bit because it kind of knew that we had food, and that was fine. I respected the boundary, and I just pet her dogs, and I kept conversation going with my friend. And something happened where I mentioned something to my friend, and he said something, and then she said something where she's like, well, if you didn't have food in the dog park, then we wouldn't be in this situation. I was like, because you could feel the vibe flipped. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know this was a dog park. But like, I looked at my friend, and he's like, well, maybe if you would train your dog. Like, he was being a little punk about it. But so that like riled her up. And I was like, so what are you, the owner of the dog park? Like, because at this point she was like, I don't know, I think she was like something was like legit wrong with her, because we were doing nothing. We're being at peace. We respected not feeding her dogs, and we were doing nothing wrong. And I didn't even know it was a dog park. So she was circling our area, like disturbing our peace, really. And she had like her attitude and her vibe just automatically flipped. And my friend moved his leg, and she thought that he was trying to kick her dog, and she's like, don't kick my dog. And he's like, I didn't kick your dog, lady. And like, so that escalated it more. And she's like, you should get out, or I'll call the cops. I was like, are you serious? Like, I was like, first of all, who says it's your, or she said something also like, this is my dog park. And I was like, where does it say your name in dog park? She's like, this fucking, she's like, it's called Queen's Dog Park. I was like, oh my God. I was like, wow, this chick is like crazy. So like that kind of stuff is what I want to avoid. And to do that, these people, even like parts of myself, have to be like, go in and be like, oh, it wasn't even like, she was totally unaware of like what she was like crazy conveying out at that point. And I was like, I didn't want to deal with her. I said, I told her dog, I was like, I'm so sorry about your owner. And then we just left, because I didn't want to deal with that type of, I don't like to say crazy, but like unconsciousness, like just gone at that point, because it was weird. But yeah, so direct communication. I hope this goes far and people understand that there's a difference, because like some people will just kind of like chat because they're socially engineered to do that, and then there's actually like direct, sometimes deep communication, or wanting to resolve something, and you can't resolve any sort of miscommunication or anything without directly addressing it. So that's my little sense for today. Have a good day. Communicate.